Mr. Mark.
Hello, Joey.
Episode 81 has
Here we
arrived.
are.
Yes. We are today we're talking all about if you're thinking about selling, this is going to be the podcast to listen to.
Yes.
You're going to get a front to back of how you should be planning the order of action, the thought process behind it. I think this is a really good if you're thinking this is the year, take a listen to this podcast.
Yeah, we're pulling the curtain back, and we're showing you a behind the scenes look at what it takes to go from thinking of selling to holy crow, I sold my house.
Love it.
We're also eating.
We also eat.
Yeah, we eat in this episode.
I think there's an ASMR section that's going to stay in this this podcast.
Shout out Donair sauce.
Shout out Donair sauce.
And we'll leave it at that.
Yes, and if you want to skip ahead 26 minutes around the 26-minute mark, you can get right into the Donair and pita.
Yeah.
Of the
business starts at the 26th minute. Fun starts now.
Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savel.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate, working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
How are you?
I'm good.
Feeling better?
Feeling better.
Looking stronger.
A lot less coughs will be a part of this podcast.
It's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Fighting through it.
Yeah, it was literally February 1st when it got hit. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's been a 3-week endeavor, and thank God for puffers and Western medicine.
I got to get you a I Survived the Great Ammonia of 2025 t-shirt. Well, we got an exciting one today.
Yeah.
We have exciting ones every week, but this one's... I feel like I'm going to shine in this one. We're doing a behind the scenes look at what it takes to get your place from I'm thinking of selling to holy crow, I've sold my place.
100%. You put together a really nice kind of step-by-step situation of what you should be thinking about, the order you should be thinking about it, and the good approach on it. I think just a good approach overall.
Yeah, this has been inspired by the conversations I've been having, because I think there's this misconception that when you see a property on Instagram or on MLS, it's like you just flip a switch and boom. And that's not the case.
No.
It takes a lot of preparing. So in this episode, we're going to kind of go over the timelines. I'm going to kind of explain how we do it, as well as some of the mistakes that I often see happen that can kind of veer you off path.
Yeah, and keep you on track. And it's so funny because again, 90% of the work happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to kind of approach it this way.
I feel like this episode is like that motivational picture of the, what did the Titanic hit?
The iceberg?
The iceberg, yeah. Where it's like what you see, what goes on below the water. That's a good analogy
That's actually so perfect.
Yeah. Like you only see the tip of an iceberg. You don't realize it's so big below. And that's kind of, you just see the Instagram highlight reel and not all the work that goes into it. But before we get into the good stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to ask for a favor of you.
Yeah.
Can you please do our call to action?
Yes, I can do a call to action.
Okay. And then I'll tell you why after you do it.
Okay.
Take it away, Joey.
Listen, if you've been listening up to this point, 2 minutes into this podcast,
we thank you.
We thank you. First off, we thank you. Second off, if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, leave comments, do whatever you got to do to keep us alive and going.
Yes, please.
And honestly, keep us motivated, because I think, we do really, really appreciate it when they come through. So, if you haven't, please do.
And I'll tell you why I asked you to do it. When I do it, we get terrible comments. Last week you did it, and we got two of the nicest comments. Well, they were nice. They were very nice comments. I'm not going to say the nicest ever, because Adriana S. every week leaves us the nicest comments ever. But for YouTube comments, these rank like top 3 is in the niceness category.
Love it. I'm very happy about that.
Yes. Kyle Ford Invest. He's a mortgage broker and fellow YouTuber. He said, quality episode. And I'll take that.
I'll take that all day long.
And then Matt Kever, I hope I pronounced that right, a CPA and real estate investor over at Canadian Real Estate Channel. He said, I really enjoyed this update.
So Matt McKeever.
Oh.
I actually know Matt McKeever. I don't know him personally.
Okay.
But when I first was getting into, I saw this, as blew my mind. Well, it blew my mind in a sense, because it was first time I started getting into real estate investment and what that all was. He was the main channel that I would listen to.
Come on.
Young guy from London.
London, Ontario?
Yeah, London, Ontario. And they built this huge community. He's amazing with communication and explaining everything. in really simple terms. Actually, also where I came across Emma Pace,
Yeah.
who used to do her Toronto the monthly market updates for Toronto within their community. So they rebranded into the Canadian Real Estate Channel. So it's really cool that that kind of came full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So shout out Matt McKeever.
McKeever, that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And the Canadian Real Estate Channel. You guys are all doing awesome stuff, so keep it up.
Yeah, Kyle Ford Invest and Canadian Real Estate Channel. We're going to have the shoutouts in our show notes. So if you do want to follow them and follow Joey's advice on getting great content from them, the link's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, make it happen. So hopefully we get more nice comments because Joey asked you to leave nice comments. Maybe it's the intimidation factor. Like, oh, this scrawny little guy will kick his ass. When Joey's like, leave a nice comment, they're like,
Man, taking the shirt off next time.
no, episode 100.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep the shirt on to episode 100.
I'm back to the gym, all right? We're getting ready for it.
We've got 19 episodes to make that happen. I'm on Peloton now.
Okay, yeah. You're in it too.
I downloaded the Peloton app, yeah.
Yeah, right. We were talking about this. How are you liking it?
I'm loving it.
Yeah?
I hesitated for so long. I'm like, I don't want to be a Peloton guy. Like, I don't know. There's just a connotation that I think I didn't want to have as an identity. And screw that. I'm ready. Get me a Peloton shirt. I'm ready to be a Peloton guy. So I used to do these Zwift rides, which is like an indoor. It's more of like a purist cycling app.
Okay.
But you can compete with other people around the world. I got into it big during COVID. I did like a couple.
Which is actually kind of wicked. Like that's a really cool concept.
Yeah. I did like 100-kilometer rides on this thing, like 3.5 hours in front of an iPad screen.
So funny.
Yeah. And I loved it. But I find the Peloton, you burn a lot more calories. I've never sweat in such a short period of time.
Okay.
On this compared to the others. And wild thing about the Peloton app is it's not just cycling. They have meditation, stretching, HIIT workouts,
all wellness encompassing.
Which I was like, for $30, not bad.
No, that's not bad. Their bikes are expensive, but the app doesn't sound as nearly as rough.
That's a very good point because I like shiny things. So I was like instantly, Adriana, I need a Peloton bike. And she's like, you don't? I have a very nice bike that actually moves with the hills. It goes up and down.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, you're fine. I'm like, oh, come on, I really want one. But I looked into it. It's actually $55 a month if you have the Peloton bike, plus you're paying for the bike.
Right.
Versus $30 a month if you have your own bike.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid setup.
Yeah, I think they got to look at that business plan because
something's backwards.
Something's backwards. But that aside, I'm ready to be a Peloton guy.
I love it.
If you want to throw me a shirt, I'll be a Peloton guy.
Speaking of Peloton and burning calories from what you may have eaten and consumed, tell me about your weekend where you might have eaten.
What a segue. That was so smooth. So I believe you're asking, how is my weekend? Where did I eat?
That's precisely.
Did you watch White Lotus season 3?
I have not yet.
Okay, because that's been a big part of my week.
I will be watching it, but no, I have not. I'm not tuned in.
This is the first time where we're going to watch it one episode a week, so we're not going to binge it and get it all in.
Yeah.
I kind of like this experience.
Okay.
It's like teaching me restraint and like accepting that like you have to wait. Because in society, it's like, I need it now. Yeah. So anyways, we started White Lotus season 3. I will say, bit of a slow start.
Okay.
Bit of a slow start. They changed the theme song.
I don't know why I've heard that nonstop lately, and I do not know why.
Oh man, that was such a banger.
It was a banger. It was actually, that theme song, by the way, was supposed to be for Kanye.
Really?
Yes, that was an original thing that was supposed to be for Kanye that he didn't end up hearing it. It didn't end up going through, but I actually looked it up because I was like really interested. I was like, this is a really cool like production.
I follow the composer on Twitter.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you're saying that because he seems very anti-Kanye.
It makes sense. I don't think he had a good experience when he was there.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'm gonna approve this fact and say this is actually a thing. So I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, this one doesn't. It's not a banger.
Yeah,
it's probably appropriate for a Thailand-based show.
Yeah,
but man, bring it back.
It was hitting TikTok. Like that was like a viral thing that was happening. Yeah.
Me and Adriana S were driving downtown, and there was a lady blaring it out of her car, and like it was on loop because we were stuck in traffic. It was at least 30 minutes of that song, and we were mad. It was a banger.
Amazing. Yeah. That's a roll down the windows. Turn
just cranking it. Yeah. It's like,
just take a listen.
Yeah. But not season 3. But what I do like about season 3 is they are in Thailand.
Yes.
Fun fact, I love Thai food.
Okay.
So this is the relation that I'm trying to bring her. Yeah. I also love Walter Goggins, who plays one of the characters in season 3. He's the receding hairline guy. We haven't seen it yet, so it doesn't make sense.
No, I have not.
Okay. Really, really good actor. I think he's going to have a very powerful role in here. But also Arnold Schwarzenegger's son
is in it.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
And I was like, oh God, this is going to be cringe. Not cringe.
Not cringe.
He's a good actor.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Does he have an accent?
Nope.
No, that would make sense.
He might be acting.
Good point.
But no, I believe he's American.
It would make sense because he would be born here.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the son's son or the illegitimate son. I mean, he's legitimate, but not from
Not from
the wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, you know about that?
No, I don't know anything about this.
Had a child with the maid?
No.
You don't know this?
I don't know this story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I got to do some facts before I start making accusations. But all this to say, they're in Thailand. We love Thai food. So Adriana S. and I went to Koh Lipe.
Koh Lipe.
Probably pronouncing that wrong. 35 Baldwin Street.
35 Baldwin.
Yep.
I like Baldwin Street a lot.
Okay, I just discovered it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
Or like 2 months ago, but
Yeah. That Baldwin strip is like
everything.
Yeah, it's a really cool spot.
Mexican, Thai, espresso, like what?
Yeah.
How is there not more like knowledge?
Hype on this?
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, Baldwin, you should go.
So Smoke and Bone is also on Baldwin, which is an amazing barbecue place. So shout out Smoke and Bone, and also like, man, it's a really like good vibey spot. That whole street is like a really vibey spot.
Yeah, and now if you don't know where Baldwin is, so let's say you're at the ROM, it's about a block north of the ROM. So if you are doing any kind of March break winter activities at the ROM, venture up to Baldwin.
Yeah.
Do your lunch there. You're going to find something you love. I can't speak highly enough. I'm going to say this. Koh Lipe is my favorite Thai spot in the city.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
No, fair
100%.
Enough. Fair enough.
Pad Thai was next level. The noodles are just cooked to perfection.
Yep.
I've tried the chicken. Now I've tried the shrimp. I've tried medium heat, which for white people is like extreme XXX heat. They're like, this is not hot at all. I'm like, man, may I have another Coke because I'm sweating? So this time I did no heat and put a little chili flakes on the side. Still very hot.
Yeah.
So like, just be careful. Like, step it down.
Know your tolerance.
Yeah. Don't try to be cool. They will humble you very quickly. But the Pad Thai was out of this level good.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. Koh Lipe.
Koh Lipe. It sounds like Dua Lipe. Or if we're pronouncing it correctly, Koh Lipe. But yeah, I highly suggest it. They are Michelin recommended 3 years in a row.
Are they Michelin recommended?
Recommended. Yeah, they don't have a star.
But they're
recommended.
Yeah.
And like, I'm good with that. I think they deserve a star because the food is next level. I always say, like, blindfold me. That's how I judge my food. The quality is amazing.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, amazing.
Highly suggest reservations. It's a very informal place. Like, you can just go in with whatever you're wearing type thing. It's not like one of these high-end fancy spots.
Yeah.
But reservations are a must, I would say.
Yeah. So is it a small place?
It's small. They have an upstairs, but they're packed, steady.
Got you.
We went in the middle of the snowstorm of last week, and it was packed.
Right. Yeah, okay.
So book a rezo.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. How about you? What'd you get up to this week?
This week. So this week was a snowstorm week,
Yes.
which we didn't touch on because it's just started when we finished our last podcast.
Yeah.
And oh my God, is it hard to get around? So we didn't travel and venture very much this past week because we've just been. I wanted to shout out a staple in our neighborhood that I've avoided personally for whatever reason. There's no real reason I avoided it, but I was always like, it looks okay. Let's just skip it. But Right Wing.
Okay.
Have you heard of Right Wing?
No.
It's been there for I don't know, God knows how long, but it's a pub. It's pub food. It's like the second you walk in, you smell. I don't know what it is about the chicken wing scent and their sauces that they have in the back, but like every time you're either walking past it or you walk in that building, the scent just gets me so much. Although I never really ordered from there until recently. And when I was like, we're just gonna get something close by because there's snow everywhere and we don't feel like digging out our cars right now.
You didn't Uber?
Didn't Uber. Because it's you know what, to be fair, this would be the most embarrassing Uber because of how close it actually is.
Okay, fair. We're not going to dox where you live, but I understood what your sentiment is on that one. Glad you still didn't Uber, man.
Yeah. Although, let's not talk. Let's not go. We'll just leave it there.
We'll just,
I'll take the compliment. We're just going to move on.
So you love the place. What'd you order?
So we did a round. We did a very big round.
Okay.
Quesadillas, club sandwiches. Also their taco poutine. I'm such a sucker for those like weird poutines where they just like put more than just fries and like a just go nuts with it.
Was it pulled pork they put in it? Like what made it the taco?
It was cheese, it was tomatoes. I think they have like chives and stuff on it. It was just like it was kind of nacho with. I don't think there was any meat if I don't remember. I think you could add it, but
okay.
I don't remember if we did or not.
Okay.
But shout out to Right Wing because you're a staple and like honestly the wings smell so damn good when you walk inside and you're a staple of the neighborhood. So
love it. Speaking of Right Wings,
yeah,
Canada won.
Oh yeah, good point. We have not talked about this.
Canada won. Oh my God. It's so funny. 9 days ago, I had no idea what the Four Nations tournament was.
Yeah.
Did not care about it. Zero interest in it. 48 hours ago, I was the biggest hype man of this tournament. Kudos to the NHL for putting together an incredible out of left field experience.
Yeah.
There was like zero hype around it. Do you know what the Four Nations event was?
No.
It was a substitution to the All-Star game. So there's no NHL All-Star game this year.
Oh.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't know this.
And contrast that to the NBA, who had their All-Star game last week. Spoiler alert, it sucked.
Right.
It was just like commercials. It was really weird. This was like, the NHL's was like so much hype, so much excitement. Did you watch the final game?
I actually didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay. It's okay.
I've heard about it, and I know what happens.
I'm glad you heard about it, because
yes,
it's kind of like the biggest thing of the week. Canada played last Sunday. They lost to the U.S. It was at home. There was anthem booing, all that.
Yeah.
You know, messy stuff. They had a win against Finland to rematch America in the finals, which
Right.
they did. They beat Finland 5-3. They played America in Boston, TD Gardens. If you're a Leaf fan, that stadium haunts us. We don't do well there. And unfortunately for Austin Matthews, he didn't do as well as I think he was hoping to. And it was such a weird dynamic because I'm like, I hate Brad Marchand, but I need him to do well. I love Austin Matthews, but I need him to do poorly. And I was like so conflicted. It's like, guys, just have fun. Everyone enjoyed themselves. No one get injured. But Canada won. It was an overtime goal. I lost my voice screaming. It was like so intense. Does this keep us safe from the clutches of American annexing us? No. But you know what? It felt really good to have that win. It felt so good. 48 hours later, it's completely out of my system. I'm back to not caring about hockey that much. But go Leafs, go.
I love that so much.
Yeah, go Leafs, go.
Yeah, it seemed very timely, and like, yeah, that was one of the big things about it. Was like, it's such a politically charged moment.
So politically charged, and like it means nothing, but you know, it just felt good. Yeah, it would feel really shitty if Canada lost.
Right,
I'd say.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the sentiment that that's an important sentiment to take in.
And on the tariff talk, I think we should get into this. Remember when we were here with Chris Mulder?
Yes.
And we were sipping Kentucky's finest?
Yes.
And I was like, someone's going to call us out because we're so uneducated.
Yep.
On these
the types of boozes and how
where they're from.
Yep.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
We got called out from a good friend.
Yep.
Good friend, Rene Marcantonio. He's a new listener. He's like, send me your YouTube links. I want to watch you guys, which was, I thought, really
I love
nice
that.
of him.
Yeah.
He sent me a message that went Lamo, which is for the uncool kids laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Lamo. What you were drinking was Woodford Reserve Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So here's the breakdown. All bourbon is whiskey.
Okay.
But not all whiskey is bourbon.
Okay.
Bourbon can only come from Kentucky, whereas whiskey can be made anywhere else, Tennessee, Japan, Ireland, etc., etc. So bourbon is made in a charred virgin American oak barrel and must contain 50% corn and be regulated by the authorities in Kentucky.
Oh, there's like a full-fledged regulation to it.
It's all about the mash.
Oh man, the mash.
I don't know. That's what he said.
Okay.
Not the monster mash. The Kentucky mash. It was the mash. He said, no hate from me. Happy to see you enjoying the bourbon. Just want to drop some knowledge on you guys. So Rene, we salute you.
I actually respect that so much. That was so much more detailed than I was expecting out of it. So I was hearing a little bit. I also did clarify some of this with Molly C.
Okay. She from Kentucky?
No, she's not from Kentucky. Okay. She's just been in the service industry for a decent amount of time.
Fair.
So I asked her the same question. I don't know the specifics. I'm going to get this wrong. I'm probably going to get corrected again.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch what I'm saying right now.
It's okay.
But apparently whiskey is, whiskey's the thing that's kind of like the bold statement. In Scotland, they don't drink scotch because scotch is from, it's a weird dynamic where if you order scotch in Scotland, they look at you funny. Like you're ordering something weird. They just call it whiskey there.
Okay.
Over here, we call it scotch.
In Italy, you don't order espresso, you order cafe.
Okay.
So cafe. Espresso.
Yeah.
And you don't order a double espresso because that doesn't exist. So I get that. I get the loss in translation.
There's something happening.
Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. I guess bourbon can come from Kentucky.
All bourbon is whiskey. So I think whiskey, that's what I mean. Like, I think whiskey is like the overarching, like everything is whiskey. And then there's like rye.
Oh.
And rye is like the Canadian, it's like made in Canada specifically.
The equivalent of bourbon.
Right. But it's in theory, to my knowledge, is that it's all whiskey. It's just called different things if it's come from different places.
Got it. All right, I accept that.
Yeah. That's my
stamp the fact.
stamp of approval. And here's where you get all your booze knowledge.
All right, well, let's just keep going with the tangents here because good listener of the show, probably one of the best listeners of the show, Mr. JP Kelly.
Oh, yes.
He gave us a little treat.
Oh, I am so stoked for this.
You know how we're like the shawarma kings and we're always trying different shawarmas and talking about it?
Yep.
They're also called Donairs, apparently.
Shawarmas are called Donairs?
Yeah, there's
or in certain...
Same whiskey bourbon concept,
Okay.
Donair, depending where you are. He's from out east. Very knowledgeable. Maybe I should sit him down and get him to tell us the difference between a shawarma and a Donair. But nevertheless, he brought us Donair sauce. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Mr. Donair.
Mr. Donair.
The original. Now, he says they put this on pizzas out east.
Oh, okay.
It's like a dipping sauce.
Okay. Got it.
Also, you can get in your Donairs, aka shawarmas, to those from Toronto.
Yeah.
So he claims this is better than our beet juice. I've got my suspicions, but shall we take them up on the challenge?
I am so down for that.
All right.
This looks so fun.
Hang on. Look at the back. Taste of Nova Scotia. See that at the bottom right here?
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Taste of Nova Scotia. Huh. Interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
The Donair sauce at Mr. Zagros is, I will never not put it on anything. Like that's, when I'm there, it's absolutely hitting the same.
The garlic one? Or just a straight Donair sauce?
It's called the Donair sauce.
Donair sauce.
Yeah.
And
I wonder, there's a garlic sauce and then there's a Donair sauce.
Okay, see, I've never done that yet.
Yeah.
I've always hit the garlic sauce up. We're going to try it. I went to, shout out Sobeys. These mini brioches. This is your cue to watch us on YouTube or Spotify.
Yeah.
These beautiful mini brioches, described as soft and fluffy bites, was as close to pita bread as I was going to get at 9 a.m.
This is such a funny, the fact that these exist is hilarious to me. And I'm so curious what they taste like.
You want to smell it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm already sold on
Put
it.
a little on your neck. Yeah. The wives are going to go crazy for us. Mr. Donair. What's up your sleeve? All right. Put a little bit of Donair on our...
Let's see it. Mark is currently... Oh, like a donut. It looks like a donut.
Yeah, it's like a Donair cream.
Yeah, Donair cream puff.
Like a Boston cream puff.
All right. I like this.
All right, Mr. JP, the beautiful people of Nova Scotia, we salute you.
Salute.
We're going to try your Donair sauce.
Yep.
Live on air. Very sweet.
It's sweeter than I expected.
Very sweet. It's like candy. That's a pass. That's a win.
That's really good. That on a sandwich would be delicious.
We're going to find out if they sell these in store here, and if not, find a way to import them.
Did he bring it from Nova Scotia when he came?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
His parents sent him care packages all the time, so he threw us from his secret stash.
Love it.
Want a little more?
Yeah, why not? Give me one last shot here.
Look at this packaging too. It's so like innovative.
This is actually a really convenient way to do this.
Right?
Perfect.
It's like toothpaste. Yeah. Nova Scotian toothpaste.
No, yeah.
Donair sauce. Love it. Really good.
Oh, very good.
Okay. Well, that solidifies that claim. Donair sauce. Really good.
Hit the spot. Yeah.
Thank you, JP.
Thank you, JP.
But he did say it's better than beet juice. To that I say,
the beet juice. We're doing some
challenge accepted. We got beet juice.
Here's our normal size glasses.
Marcello da Fratello.
Yeah.
We got our giant hands with our glasses of beet juice here.
I love this.
I'm just going to move our little brioche buns away.
Yeah, we're going all out today.
Celebration. I wasn't sure how you were feeling, so I was like, I'll give him a little boost of immunity.
Honestly, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a perfect blend right now.
Today's immunity shot, we're drinking inch of ginger, 2 beets, a lemon, peeled.
Okay.
And a carrot.
I like
And
that.
a carrot.
Yeah.
Salute. Enjoy.
Cheers. Thank you.
Damn it.
Delicious.
That's good. Last time you drank this, I was like, yo, you downed the whole thing in one shot. I've been trying my best. I can never down a whole Every time I'm in front of Age, I'm like, I'm going to do the Joey attack. I can never get it. And he just, amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. That's so refreshing. I feel alive.
Good. Yeah, we're also buzzing off some espressos.
Yeah. Some Donairs.
Big dichotomy. All right, back to the show. Here we go. Got a new listing this week.
Yes, let's hear it.
50 O'Neill. It's called Rodeo Drive.
Yep.
Built by Lanterra, finished in 2004-ish, just closed about a month ago. We've listed the best price unit in the building.
Love it.
It's just under 500 square feet. It comes with parking and locker, really modern, sleek finishes, $549,000.
Love it.
Cheapest price. If you want to be at the Shops of Don Mills, this is the best value that we've got going on right now.
Love it. And also so lively down there. I do love that spot.
Okay, so I was with Mediarama and we're doing our promo video and they took me through the Shops of Don Mills. I cannot believe how many options you have there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's endless. Everything you need is like you would literally just walk out your front door and like you're good.
You want to catch a movie? Theater's right there.
Yep.
Feeling like a taste of Italy? Go to Italy.
Yeah, Italy's right there too. Yeah, that's right.
You know, looking for some materials to make beet juice? There's a Metro.
Yeah.
Hockey arena. Like,
yeah, you have clothes shopping, you have Shoppers Drug Marts right there. Everything is like so convenient.
It's so good. Yeah, exactly. Everything. Big fan of the Shops of Don Mills. Really opened my eyes up to that very well designed community with a little bit of everything right at your doorstep. So, huge fan of the area. Love this unit. Love the price. The terrace is like 200 square feet. It's massive.
The terrace is huge.
Yeah. You do have city views from there. You're overlooking the Shops of Don Mills. So it's a really sweet unit. Hoping it goes relatively quickly, but we're at it. We are up now at 50 O'Neill. If you want to take a tour, reach out to us. Happy to show you the place.
Love it. And did you mention what the price is at?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Please.
The price at $549.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got so many substances going through my body right now between the beet juice and the Donair. It's just hitting right here now.
But you're talking about best price. So I figure we should mention it. And also, again, you have parking and locker also included in it.
Parking locker included. The maintenance fees are very affordable for what you get. They've got a state-of-the-art gym, outdoor pool, garden area. They even side perk. They have a little desk for Uber deliveries, which I think is so cute.
I love that. I love that. That's a thing that I've seen on multiple condos at this point too. I love that idea.
Yeah. The second they walk in, the concierge is like, there.
Over there.
Just don't even come here with your food. There. And the residents come down, pick their food up, and go on their way. So it's the world we live in. They're adapting to the changes of the world. And I really like that. All right. Well, let's get into it.
I think it's time. Yeah. We're getting into the El Meat and El Potato.
What time are we at so far?
We're 26 minutes.
26 minutes of nothing with the topic. I love it. We hope you enjoy the comedy part of the show. And now we're going to get into the business.
Yeah, we'll mention the time. We'll put the timestamp in.
We'll timestamp it. Yeah. If you want to skip all of our food culinary experiences, 26 minutes.
That's it.
There we go. Yeah. So I kind of want to peel back the curtain and share our secret sauce.
Yeah,
see what I did there?
I like it.
The Mark and Joey Donair sauce of what it takes to get a property ready for the market.
Yep.
And this is going back to that analogy of the
iceberg.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The iceberg. There's so much that happens below the water before that peak starts to show itself. So before a property can be ready, there is a ton of work that goes into it.
Yeah, there's a ton of planning. There's a ton of prep. And again, it's like all the real work happens before you see it. When you see it, it's done.
It's done.
The hard stuff is done.
Right. The finished product is what you see.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of sellers think that it just kind of happens magically right away, and it doesn't. It's a very stressful time, and I think taking the time to plan and to talk it through and to have a good strategy and blueprint goes a long way for the success of getting your house sold for what you're looking for.
Totally, and the speed at which it takes, like it goes a long way. The proper planning really does make the difference.
Yes. Yeah, so we're going to kind of go through it here. This is a high level. Of course, there's multiple different scenarios for what and why you're selling. We're not going to cover them all. Just kind of give you a quick comparison of if it's an investment property or if it's a move up type of. Those would be the two scenarios we're going to talk about most in this kind of breakdown here.
Yeah.
So the very first step is deciding that you want to sell. Mm-hmm. I think this gets overlooked, the deciding factor, because we have the urge of maybe I need a new space, maybe it's a growing family. But you have to have that firm moment of saying, you know what, we're selling.
It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a family home and if you're a move up buyer, there's a lot of emotion that you're going to be going through.
Right.
So coming to that point of we're ready to part from this place that's held our memories for X amount of years is a very big step.
Yes.
And with that step, you need to have a discussion. And the discussion is, where are we going to go next?
Yep.
If it's a family, are the kids going to be relocated from school? They're going to lose their friends. What's the work commute going to look like? The travel commute to work? What's the neighborhood we're going to move into look like? These are all considerations that don't really happen until you really sit down and start thinking about what those next steps look like.
Yep.
And why that's so important is because you're not just selling your house, but you're eventually going to be buying your next house.
Yes.
So planning what the costs are. If you're moving up, or is your mortgage going to increase by $1 million, $500,000? What does that cost every month? This is where this step is so crucial. Before we even talk about staging and painting, it's mapping out your expenses.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest pitfalls I see is people don't spend enough time calculating what they're actually going to take from their house and what it's going to cost them to move into the next one.
Right.
And so this is where calling your realtor right up front and early and asking for that blueprint, for those puzzle pieces to be filled in, is going to bring you so much relief and so much more insight to what those next steps look like.
Totally, because there's so much behind that. There's even just getting an assessment on your place in general right now. It's like that's a big piece of the puzzle that's going to make or break your decision. Maybe it ends up being like it's just not the time. Where this could just be a starting conversation to say, you know what, it's not. We're not doing this right now.
The margins don't work for what you're trying to achieve, and I love that you said that because I feel like a lot of people just rush in and like, well, whatever, we'll just figure it out. No. There's so many moving parts, and you're displacing so many things. You want to be very certain. We've had a lot of conversations with clients where we talk them out of selling,
right?
Because we just don't think it's possible for them to achieve that next step, or it's much more costly than they were anticipating. And it doesn't mean never. It just means let's just move some pieces around until
it makes sense.
It all adds up.
Yep.
Exactly. The other thing I want to mention here is we're talking about family home, but let's say you have an inheritance home or a home you've rented for the last 20 years.
Right.
We need to have a talk about capital gains.
Yes.
Because you need to know what you're going to be walking away from. Now, it's inevitable. You will pay capital gains whether you sell today or in 5 years, but you just need to know what that number is going to look like.
Yeah. It all comes from the planning. Like you and capital gains is a heavy hit.
Yes.
So you can think you're walking away with the cash that the numbers that are on the piece of paper, but there's taxes. It can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. So that's a very big part that you have to kind of have a conversation with and make sure you understand everything about the process.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to discover in step one is the why. Are we moving to move up? Are we divorcing? Are we moving down? Downsizing is going to a condo. Well, once we know our why, we can discuss our how.
Right.
And the how is the meat and potatoes.
The meat and potatoes.
as you like to, or the Donair and brioche buns of kind of the true value of a realtor. And this is where strategy comes into play. So we understand, we're going to use the example of we're a move-up buyer. So you've had the house for maybe 5 years. It's kind of been well-loved. There's some nicks, there's some damages. Maybe a bathroom needs some updating. Whatever the case is, we're going to sit down in this phase and talk about what that looks like.
Yes.
I think a lot of sellers think, we need to do a whole bunch of things to our house to get it show ready. I often find you have to do a lot less than sellers anticipate.
Than planned. Yeah.
And this is where working with a good local realtor is very important, because if you use a reference of maybe a family home for 50 years, putting in a new kitchen, a new bathroom might not be a good approach.
Right.
Because if you don't do the whole house, then someone's going to have to come in and rip all that out to do it, to match the aesthetics of everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's another big thing I find with a lot of the older homes. The younger generation's like, we're going to put a new kitchen and a new bathroom and then sell it.
Right.
And my point is, you're not going to get that money back out.
Right, because it's not cheap to do it.
Not cheap.
And your value ratio is just like it's if you're only doing little pieces like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to make that big.
It's sometimes not worth it at all. It's better just to sell the house as is, make your disclosures, put it up, and kind of part ways with it.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of these conversations are important. So I think the pro tip I'm trying to say here is work with a local agent who could show you examples of other homes in your scenario that you're trying to achieve, and kind of lay out a blueprint based on that.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, and I also want to add, whenever the decision's made and you're talking about the how, that's the moment when you're kind of like, this is why you need to make that decision of like, am I actually going through with this? Because there is steps involved, and it costs money, it takes time, it's energy, it's stressful.
Yep.
So it's important to kind of have that transitional moment of like, okay, the numbers make sense, therefore let's go forward.
Let's go forward with it. Yeah. Not to be a Debbie Downer here, but death, divorce, and moving are the three most stressful things you go through in your life.
Right.
So you are consciously choosing to move. Be prepared. It's going to be a lot. It's not as bad as maybe we're making it seem. Having a good team behind you to help facilitate that goes a long way.
Yep.
And having an absent realtor who's kind of just like, tell me when you're ready, I'll put the sign up.
Yeah.
Also is going to have quite a big impact on you. So make sure you hire someone that you have a good rapport with, someone with strong communication skills that's readily available, that you can email and call and kind of have those checks. We're putting a house up in Oakville right now. We've been going through this for the past about month and a half, and it's been every couple of days, constant communication of like, hey, we're thinking of this. What are your thoughts? And I'm like, no, don't do that. It's a waste of money. Or yes, definitely do that. It's going to get you more money. So having that dialogue is very important in this process.
Yeah, makes total sense.
And so closely tied to step 2 is once you've determined your why, and we're talking about our how, is assessing the market in your specific area.
Right.
We do our market updates every month.
Yes.
And you're great to mention, this is Toronto based. This is not Canada or GTA or Ontario. You could break those markets down even further.
Yes. So important to mention this. Watching a market update on YouTube is one thing, and then having a realtor saying, here's what happened in your couple blocks is another.
And to even get more specific, you could have 2 condo towers side by side with very different valuations.
Very true. Yeah.
So it is geographically tied, but it's even individual building when we're talking condos.
Yep.
It can be a 3-phase project. One could have a special assessment, one could not. That will greatly affect the values.
Totally. Yep.
So you want to make sure you're working with a realtor who's aware of those things and who can kind of bring those to your attention so you know what to do. Going back to our example for Oakville, there's a specific trend of how you finish a basement. And I saw a noticeable difference based on how people were finishing it. So I showed that to them just to say, like, guys, you're going to be doing your basement. Try to follow these trends of these previous sales.
Right.
So someone doesn't walk in and be like, huh, what the heck? This one's different. Another gleaming example is I sold a property in Brampton. And Brampton is a different market altogether. It's a very different dichotomy than a Toronto property.
Yep.
And what I learned from that experience is a basement apartment is so crucial.
Right.
It's almost expected.
Right.
And if you don't have it, you're doing a very big disservice to your home. The home I was selling didn't have it.
Right.
We didn't know how big of a deal it was until we came to market. And we joked, like, if we ever did another sale in Brampton, we're doing a basement apartment first. Yeah. So knowing your local market is incredibly important because that will make a huge difference on the marketability and kind of how easy it is to sell your home.
That's such a good pro tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
That is absolutely. Yeah. It's so neighborhood specific and area specific. And that's such a good example to showcase that.
Yeah. Looking at local trends goes a long way. Just to kind of help your clients. So like when I've taken a listing, once I've discovered their why, my first thing I'm thinking of, what's the target market? Who's going to be buying here? And then we try to tailor the home around that. And so what I mean by that is, I'm not going to stage a midtown condo the same way I would stage a Queen West condo.
Right.
There's going to be different tastes. There's going to be different appearances. There's going to be different target markets we're trying to meet.
Right.
So we want to make sure the look of that is in line with where the place is.
It's cohesive. Yeah.
Yep. It's super important for that. And then when we're talking about like market data, the other thing I really like pointing out is days on market.
Yes. Yeah.
That can go a long way for your specific area. So if you have a family and your kids are in school, you want to try to time it out with the end of school, and it's taking 7 days to sell a house in your area, you might want to push that off to later in the year so you're not impacting their school and you're able to look for a place over the summer months.
Yep.
But again, it goes back to knowing that local.
You're pre-planning. Yeah, exactly. Months of inventory is something that's really important in that you can see how fast things are absorbing and what your neighbors are doing, how fast it's all taking. And, that's planning.
Yeah. It's all part of the blueprint. So once we kind of have this whole blueprint put together, we've decided we have an idea of price, we have an idea of days on market, we know what the place looks like. We're going to start executing this plan. Mm-hmm. And so just one last point to tying with the assessment of the market value. We also want to have our sellers understand if we should be pricing low for a bidding war or pricing high and leaving some room to negotiate.
Right.
You have to decide that strategy at this stage.
Right.
Because that's going to determine how all the other steps flow. And looking at previous sales is the easiest way to get that answer. Your realtor can do a CMA for you and they'll be able to indicate what type of market you're in and if it makes sense to handle it that way.
Yep.
So now we're executing, and this is where the heavy lifting comes in.
Right.
This is where we're decluttering, where we're removing the family heirlooms, where we're taking down depersonalizing the house to make it look as neutral and appealing to as many people as possible.
Yes.
This is where the stress starts.
Yes, very much so.
You kind of went through this with your family sale.
Yeah, we did a family sale. Yeah, and it's you got to remember that when you're going through this process, you've officially stopped truly living in that house.
Correct. I like that. That's a very important thing to say.
Yeah, because it's not something where you're like, oh, we're just going to make it clean and keep it clean while we live here. You're really living in like a sanctuary for a little bit if you're staying there, right? Because in an ideal world, you have a short-term stay somewhere else, and you leave the place just completely vacant where you can have people show at any time and you're not taking steps out. But when you are decluttering and you're taking your stuff out of the house, it is it's an event, man. It's exhausting, and then even when showings start, like it's got to be in pristine condition,
showroom condition. Yeah.
You're gonna set it up for photos, and then you have to remember that people saw the photos. They want to see that when they get there.
That's such a good point, and I think maybe this is a good time to talk about staging.
Right.
So not all homes need to be staged, but I definitely find that a staged home sells better than a non-staged home. I'm a big proponent of it. I try to stage homes, condos, whatever you want to call them, as often as I can, because I think when we're dealing with resale, we're dealing with emotion, more so than investment properties, and making sure the emotion is right when they walk in the door, from the way the place smells, the way the place looks, is so crucial. Staging takes a lot of work. It is very expensive. We cover the cost of staging for our clients, and for that reason, I need commitment from the sellers that they're going to follow the plan to a T, because it's a big waste of money.
Yes.
If they're just like, whatever, it is what it is, and the place doesn't look as we try to plan and execute on it. So having that good relationship is crucial at this point, because staging is not cheap.
Staging is not cheap. And honestly, done right, it's like, you have your place is completely empty. You have a stager come through and give their full taste and full orchestration on what you're trying to present to, who you're appealing to.
That is a whole blueprint in itself. We work with Renee and RE Creative, and like they put together a comprehensive checklist for sellers to follow, followed by a checklist of furniture items they're bringing in. They're getting the vibe, the mood, everything upright. You're looking at anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 to stage a place.
Yes.
Per month.
Yes.
So it's a big investment.
It's not cheap.
And not to be selfish, but as a realtor, we're not paid until the deal closes. So I'm putting that money up front in the good faith that we will sell it, because I'm confident in our plan up to this point. And if you're not taking that seriously, then we need to have a chat, because it is a large sum of money to be gambling every sale and maybe not getting a return on it. I kind of have this dialogue with my clients, ensuring that we have this understanding before we go forward. So far it's been great. Everybody kind of understands the process and follows through with it. But if you're not working with us, you really want to have a chat with your realtor. You want to understand who's paying for the staging costs. If you're responsible for any of it, if it's coming directly from the commission, what happens if it has to be extended, all those fun things. You definitely want to have a clear communication with your realtor. It's a costly mistake if not done right.
No. And you want to be really making sure of who's spending the money on that cost is also really, it's crucial.
So important. And so with RE Creative, when we work with them, one of their requirements is that nobody lives in the house while the house is staged. So if you're a family relocating, you now have to factor in the cost of maybe finding a 1 month Airbnb temporary place to live. Because that house has to look, as you said, just as the photos capture it. We don't want to see dog hair on the couch or like pillows messed up, and especially like the beddings. They do such a good job getting it right. It has to stay that way when people come into the house. So part of your investment as a seller is, figuring out where you're going to live at that time. Some people are fortunate enough where they can buy a place and move out and then handle it that way. I love that. It makes our job a lot easier, but there are more costs involved in that. So if you are needing to sell first before you buy, factor in the cost of moving out for at least a month. I think a month and a half is more realistic.
In today's market for sure.
100%. Maybe 2 months, let's call it, is realistic, right? So during this phase, what we're also doing is I'll go through with Renee, I'll go through myself as well, and we'll kind of give you a list of items that we think you should fix and repair. Paint is the most common thing. It's usually what we recommend almost all people to do. Very neutral. Do you remember what our favorite paint colors are?
No.
Putting you on the spot here.
No, I don't remember.
Dove White, Benjamin Moore, OC 17.
You got it down pat.
Every time I drop that paint code, the client's like, knows your stuff.
Knows what's up.
Truthfully, the other color is Chantilly white, Chantilly lace, and I hate saying that word. Chantilly.
You stay away from it.
I stay away from it. And Dove White's given me good success. So Benjamin Moore, OC 17, Josh Allen, my birthday, 1717. Believe in the numerology here. And Chantilly, just, I hate that word. It sounds creepy. It sounds like what you would call like a centipede? A Chantilly
pede? Chantilly pede.
So I'm not hating on those who like Chantilly. If you want to go with that color, go with it. But Dove White's done as well. So anyways, talking about the process here and the timelines, you're looking at probably 3 to 4 weeks to declutter, to paint, and then we're getting the stager in. And the stager in one day will stage your place, provided you've done everything from your end of decluttering and getting it right. But right after the stager's done, we're doing photos, floor plans, videos, promo, everything.
Love it.
Right the next day, because we want to capture
as fresh as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want it to look just like the stager's intent was. So even if you do happen to mess up a pillow, at least we have a reference to kind of match it with. Yeah.
Something I want to throw in as a pro tip piece here is pre-listing home inspections.
You stole my fire, but I like that.
Oh, were you about to go there?
It was coming up, but it's okay. Go with it.
No. Pre-listing home inspections are, I think they're so necessary. If you can do it, I will say they're necessary in the right circumstance. Obviously, if you're in a condo, you don't necessarily need to be going this route. But if you're in an old Toronto house, it gets all your disclosures on the table. Everything is kind of nice and neat, and you have this opportunity to like have somebody cross that off the offer if they're coming in with one to say, we've already had this place checked out. Here is everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And then that way the numbers will make sense out of the gates, and you're not going to be hit with any surprises in a conditional period.
I actually like that you're including this part of it. I should have brought it up before we even talk about staging, because for your point of disclosures, I'm a very big believer in having that pre-listing inspection. So we're just straight up about everything we know on the home.
Right.
And I've sold homes with leaky basements. I've sold homes with knob and tube wiring. I've sold homes with asbestos.
Right.
Because I disclosed it.
But that's the thing is don't hide it, because it can bite you in the future because you didn't disclose it and you knew about it. And B, people will still offer if they know what they're getting into.
100%.
And it's because of the transparency, it makes people more comfortable with it.
Yep.
It's not, well, but what else? It's, oh, you've disclosed probably the worst of it at this point, because who would say mold or who would say asbestos? It brings a lot of comfort to a buyer, and that's what you want, because that's what's going to give you the strongest offer price.
Yeah. The way we do our business is we do cover the pre-listing home inspection. So we'll pay for it. We think it's a great resource to show buyers for all the reasons Joey stated. And it gives you peace of mind that you didn't miss anything, that you are truly disclosing everything you know about the home. And that's part of our process. Some of the recent rule changes emphasize that even more.
Right.
So yeah, we're big proponents of that. The three big companies I would suggest using: Carson Dunlop, in no particular order.
Yep.
Carson Dunlop, Pillar to Post, and Baker Street home inspections. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes if anyone's looking.
It's a good idea.
Those three tend to be the most comprehensive. I find they have the most knowledgeable home inspectors.
Yep.
I also like Lighthouse. Lighthouse has come out to our church development we're selling there.
Yep.
And they're very thorough. They
Love
went
it.
through everything. I really appreciated the
Detail?
Yeah, order of operations. They were so good with everything.
Love
so
it.
I'll add them to the mix as well. But yes, a pre-listing home inspection is part of your package, and best to do it before you even start your rentals, because that might uncover something else you might have to do that
Right.
you wouldn't know.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
You don't want to do it after the staging, because you don't want the home inspector moving furniture pieces around. And if they do discover something, you just wasted a ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point.
Because you got to go back and fix it and undo everything you've done to get it ready for sale. So,
Yep.
Cool. I like that. So we've done everything. We've done all the hard work, and now we're live.
Yeah.
This is when all that hard work is going to determine if it's actually going to pay off.
Yes.
The two main elements to get right, in my opinion, is the look and the price.
Mm-hmm.
And the price is more important than the look, because you could stage this thing to the nines, but if you're way off on your price, you're not going to sell it.
Yep. There's nobody going to be showing up at the door.
Absolutely. And price doesn't mean, it's subjective. So you really got to look at the market you're in, the time you're selling, and the conditions all around it. And this goes back to step 2 of really getting all your market data in place before you determine your price.
Right.
So if you get those two things right, you're well on your way to probably selling your home with relative ease.
And as quick as possible, and for the most amount as possible.
Yeah.
And something I want to bring up is having an agent who's actively really keeping an eye on what's happening around that property is so crucial.
Yep.
I can't tell you the amount of times that something has come up last second, right before the whole game plan has happened, and there's either a sale that happened down the street or somebody that just listed that's a day before you're about to go up, and your whole plan needs to pivot.
Exactly.
Because that just set a new precedence to the market in general. That is a comparable sale that now people, all the realtors that are going to look at your place are going to look at.
Exactly. And it's so funny. Murphy's all like, it always happens. Like the night before you're about to go to market, another house comes out of left field.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Simple pro tip for the realtors out there listening. What we do is we set up a search parameter the second we know we're going to be involved in a house.
Yep.
And so even before the discussions, the really nitty gritty talks comes down, we're in the loop. of all new listings coming to market, and we're able to see when one comes.
Yep, exactly. And it's important. It's important to listen to that. It's important even as a seller to just pay attention to it and acknowledge it. It's real, right? You can't just close your eyes to it.
Yeah, and sometimes what you'll find is if someone's more motivated than you to sell, they may undercut you.
Right.
And so having that last minute piece of insight goes a long way.
Yep.
You could still hold your original plan, but you might want to shift your kind of approach to it all.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about timelines for a bit here, just so people have a bit of understanding of what it all looks like.
When to plan and how to get through it. Yeah.
So with a very efficient realtor, with everything lining up, it is possible to get a home show ready, tip of the iceberg, in 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
You're gonna have a lot of work to get that there. So don't think that's very typical.
Right.
I would say you're probably looking at 4 to 8 weeks. If you have to do some touch-ups, if you have to do some minor repairs, and if you're doing new kitchens and new bathrooms, you might want to say 3 to 4 months.
Makes sense.
Just depends on the market we're in. The fastest I've ever turned a condo around was 3 days, staged.
Yeah.
We went
and
from
stage too?
Staged photo and everything was 3 days, but that was like supreme planning from all parties.
Okay.
It just clicked.
It's one of those things where it really works, because even a stager can be busy, and that's, you'll have to just wait until they're available.
Yeah. When I sold my condo, it was 12 days turnaround.
12 days.
From when I decided, I think I'm going to sell, to
being
came with an offer.
Get out of here. That was only 12 days before.
That was 12 days. Oh, wow. I'm a minimalist. I don't have much stuff anyway. So I literally took garbage bags, threw all my stuff in it, dropped it off at my parents.
Get rid of all the Lego.
Yeah, I did remove the Lego.
You did?
I did, yeah. Oh, damn. Should have left it. So in a perfect world, 3 to 4 weeks, I would say in this market, you want to start having these conversations maybe 2 months in advance of. So we're middle to end of February. If you're thinking of coming to take advantage of the spring market, these calls need to happen now.
Yeah.
Between now and early March, it's crucial if you're planning April, May, June.
Yep.
Because if you miss that window, you're looking at the fall market and after Labor Day.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. I want to go over some high-level mistakes that I see people making.
Yep.
The number one, we kind of alluded to it, pricing.
Yeah.
If you get this wrong, scrap the whole thing.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'll have a real conversation with you. You tell me your number, I'll tell you mine. If they don't line up, kudos to you. Good luck with someone else. I'm not going to take a listing that I don't think I could achieve the result on.
Yeah.
So getting that pricing, I can't stress how important it's everything. Plain and simple, it's everything.
Yeah.
And this is what's so crazy about it. Like I've sold just a couple of weeks ago a house to be demolished, a completely demolished house with zero value in the actual home, or very little value in the actual home, because we priced it right.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what the home looks like, so long as you price it correctly.
Also a great point.
Yeah. That's where a lot of your focus and time needs to be spent on ensuring you can get the price that it's worth, and that adds up to the margins you're looking for when you buy your next house.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So demystifying the price game is extremely important.
Yep.
It sounds like an AI title. Demystifying. Oh man, too much time on perplexity over there. The second thing is not taking the advice of a realtor of suggestions of where you should improve and kind of upkeep your property. If it's like, maybe freshen up the bathroom or redo the kitchen, not decluttering. Curb appeal is another very big one that can be easily fixed and is often overlooked. Just getting a guy to cut the grass every 2 weeks or a week in the summer months.
It's such an important point to bring up.
Yeah.
Because it does just get overlooked after a while. And, if you're not living there, if you're living in a short-term stay somewhere, it's just, it is what it is. Things overgrow, snow piles up.
Snow piles up in this market. That's a huge part. Like I can't tell you how many cancellations I've had or like showings I've had to go to cancel because we just couldn't get to the house.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a big part. Marketing missteps, using poor quality photos.
Yeah.
iPhone's great in a lot of ways for selling your property. It doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
We hire professionals all the time. I never take my own photos. I never will.
Yep.
Mediarama is our go-to. They're amazing. We get a floor plan out of it. We do the dollhouse 3D walkthrough. We make it as interactive as possible for the buyers to look at.
100%. I will say in terms of our marketing strategy is like, there's no expense that's wasted. It's all done kind of to the top tier.
I'll spend whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I firmly believe in putting the money in marketing, and shout out to the Sage Design Center because they also make our listings really pop and shine.
Love it.
Our brochures are always on point. Like we put a lot of effort into showcasing the homes as best as one can.
Yes.
And if you are trying to just save money on commissions, just know that that's going to impact the overall look of your house.
Totally agree.
And have that conversation with your realtor. How much are you spending to sell my home? Because I'm putting out on a house 10 to 15,000. Doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Before it's sold.
Yeah, and that's the other piece of it too, right? Is like we talk about the work that This podcast is all based on things that you have to do. It's a lot of like, here's what the seller should be setting up, but there's a lot of the marketing side that happens as well, that there's pre-planning for and expenses, and there's stuff happening on this side as well.
Yep. Another big one I see is disclosure and transparency, and you did a really good job bringing that up. Of, there could be something wrong with your house. That's fine.
Yeah,
there's something wrong with everyone and every house. That's human experience.
There's something wrong with everyone.
Yeah,
that's absolutely
we all
true.
got some weird thing to us, right? It's so important to just disclose that.
Yeah,
I told Adriana I'm very OCD when I started dating with her. I disclosed all my problems. I'm a minimalist. I don't like stuff.
Set it out and set the table at the beginning. Yeah.
All my laundry needs to be folded in the Marie Kondo way. Do you know the Marie Kondo way?
No.
Oh, you would not want to live with me. And shout out Adriana. She's the best. When I was living in Treviso, Marie Kondo was like, she's a Japanese, I don't know, lifestyle blogger, I guess you can call her. But she has a very melodic or methodic way of folding laundry.
Okay.
And it's like, you fold them in a very square way. You respect. It's a very Japanese thing. And I'm all about that. And Adriana's like, I saw her face. She's like, you want me to do what? Every time? But we both do it now for each other. We fold our clothes in the Marie Kondo way, and it allows for more space. And
so funny.
I just closed all my problems. That's it. That's my only problem.
That's it. You said that's it.
I'm perfect otherwise. No other issues. She'll attest to that, I'm sure. But all jokes aside, with your house, you have something wrong with it, no problem. Disclose it. Let's work it into the price so it doesn't come back and bite us later.
Yep.
And the last thing I see is emotional pitfalls, is becoming too emotionally involved in the sale.
Yeah.
In taking a low offer personally, especially in this market. How dare they?
Yeah.
Do they know what this house? Yeah, we know. We all know. Everyone knows what your house is. It's not personal. Everyone's just trying to get a deal.
Yeah.
When I was shopping for my little brioche buns today, I was looking for a deal. If I'm looking for a house, the same mentality is going to come. It's not personal. I don't hate Sobeys.
Yeah.
I just want to save some money. When a person's coming to your house, it's part of the game.
Yep.
I think people get it for the most part, but you do run into those situations where they're like, it's 4,000 less than I was willing to accept. Yes, but if it gets you to move on in your life,
yeah,
maybe we can save 8,000 on the next house.
Yeah,
like it's the whole picture is important, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, that's kind of a quick. I don't know if that was quick. Maybe it was like we're at 45.
We're at 55 actually.
55 minutes. All right, just under an hour. So. We divided it nicely. 20 minutes, 30 minutes to fun, and 30 minutes to business.
Yeah, exactly.
And a little Donair in between.
No, that was very well put together. I think that's a really nice way of kind of this is a what to expect. If you're thinking about it, if the thought is starting to click in your head, this is a very good what to expect and what to plan for.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So call us if you want to sell your house.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We'll go into more in depth. We'll give you a little bit more, meat and potatoes, as Joey likes to say. But this is more just, I want to kind of highlight how much time and how much effort and how much planning goes into the shiny Instagram reel you see on many realtors' websites.
Love it.
And it's not, obviously, like a lot of people do the same type of process.
Yep.
But if you are thinking of selling, I think 2 months is the right amount of time to really have those conversations start to fruition to sold.
Love it.
And remember, once you sell, there could still be another 2 to 3 months before it closes.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
Yeah. The whole other episode.
Yeah.
What to do after closing.
Yeah.
Love it. Any shout outs?
Shout out Right Wing.
Right Wing?
Right Wing.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Not the right wing conservative party.
No.
I mean, you could.
I should clarify that. Right Wing Bar and Pub.
Bar and Pub, right. We're voting for you in this election.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out Matt McKeever and the Canadian Real Estate Channel.
I'm mind blown that there's a connection there.
That's, I love that.
Thank you, Matt McKeever. I said it right this time?
McKeever.
McKeever. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle Ford Invest. Show notes, we'll have all that. We'll link to the home inspectors that we talked about. Anything exciting going on in the week ahead for you?
Week ahead, what is happening? No, we got, we still got our listing up. 210 Victoria. There's actually a ton of action happening.
Yeah, that was slammed the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been going, and I'm getting a lot of good phone calls. So I think that's we'll see what happens this week.
Love it. Yeah, I'm tying up a lot of loose ends. The church, we're now at 10 sales, so there's only 4 left.
Love it.
It's looking like we're probably gonna get a 11th sale, so there might only be 3 left. So things are moving. The market's slowly starting to turn a little bit, I think, for the better. And we might be getting a new space.
Oh, yes.
We're going to be working on a few things here.
We're talking about some big things.
Yeah.
There is some big stuff happening.
Yeah, we're going to be busy for the next little bit. Yeah. We'll have construction hats on. We're going to try to take this podcast to another level.
Yeah. I like it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.